to know on something that was very specific. And I followed the space program since its inception, sitting there for hours, watching things happen on television, listening to the news. And I remember an incident during one of the Apollo missions that was announced on both radio and TV, and then just faded away with absolutely no answer and no publicity given to it. There was an announcement made that during one instance of the program, the public was told that there was a locking mechanism that had been installed on the Apollo capsule. And I just wondered if you, this was on the inside, not on the outside, and I wondered if you had any knowledge of that whatsoever.
I do not know what you're referring to, frankly. Could you be a little more specific about what do you mean a locking mechanism? I don't know.
Something that would lock the entrance and exit to the capsule from the inside. I mean, when you do that, there's implications that you don't want somebody to open the door from the outside.
I know no such thing. However, except for the main cabin entrance, which was modified after the fire of Apollo 1, so-called, you can't do it any other way. You've got full control on the inside. You have to do some stuff on the inside and remove hatches to get out of it. There's no way really to get in. There's no door, as you've done, no locking mechanism like you're describing. That never has been, to my knowledge.
Well, then that satisfies me as to the answer to the question, because that was probably something in the news that somebody saw or made up.
Sounds like imagination of somebody thinking there might be a need to keep somebody from getting in. However, the only time we would really need somebody to get in was like in the case of the Apollo 1 fire. When they couldn't get in, they helped them quickly.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And that whole idea of putting screen doors in the capsules, that
Good morning. While I was standing, I thought about a second question, which is, what is your thoughts on what is the alien agenda? Because one of the speakers the first day, all he said about it was that he couldn't talk about it because he got followed when he got talking about it. Let me ask my first question, which was, you said today that the research, I guess, that you're doing is that the Big Bang Theory will fade away as an explanation. Could you explain more about that?
Well, I think we have a theoretical mechanism at this point to show how matter can arise from the quantum fluctuations of the zero-point energy field. Now that has to be validated, but the mathematical formalism associated with the quantum hologram seems sufficient to be a candidate for precisely that process. And I would suspect, now this is my own speculation, that the dark energy and dark matter that is now being observed, I think is very likely proto-matter is coming into being. And when we get a better understanding of what is happening in deep space, and the magnificent photographs we've got from Hubble, and we're seeing further afield than we ever had before, with a great deal more mystery. But this notion of dark energy and dark matter is a real modern issue. And my speculation is that's probably what we're seeing starting to happen, is matter coming into being. And see, there's so many problems, in my opinion, with the Big Bang. Okay, how did it get there in the first place? What caused all of this? And it's far more sane to me to realize that nature is such that whatever is going on has been going on continuously. And what I'll throw a technical term out to those of you who may be mathematically inclined. It's called Dirac-Heisenberg-Nilpotent V-group algebra. You want to hang on to that. Is the mathematical formalism that suggests to us that the quantum fluctuations in deep space and the zero-point field are sufficient to allow matter to arise ex nihilo from those quantum fluctuations. Maybe not.
Thanks.
Jump in. Because of our difficulties earlier, we are going to run long, and it's now 20. I'm going to go about 10 more minutes. So we have 10 minutes to get those questions in. I have a question here kind of related to what you just said. Do you have any fundamental problem, either intellectually or emotionally, with the idea of infinity? And what I mean by that, of infinity. In other words, we all have this sense of beginnings and ends. You know, the room starts here and ends there, our life begins and ends, and so forth. But in terms of the big picture, do you have a problem with the idea of infinite time and infinite space?
No, I do not. I do not.
So during the discussion, the idea of unification and quantum mechanics and Einstein's field equations has been brought up, and the gentleman just kind of brought the subject matter to the front again. In the Journal of Noetic Sciences, there was a unified field theory presented by Dr. E.A. Rauscher and Nassim Haramein. So I was wondering what gravity you give to that theory, and more generally, what do you think it would take? You said that we're not there yet, but what do you think it would take to bring these types of deep ideas to
Well, I
mainstream?
think we've got the whole area of frontier science. First of all, let's say that science cannot be complete until we understand consciousness. Why we are conscious, how consciousness exists in the universe, where it came from, what all those manifestations are. And the fact, you see, what's vital here is we very adequately demonstrated that mind influences matter. We can create effects in matter. Geller spoon bendings are one thing. The kids can do. And healing through intentionality, which I've experienced and others have experienced. These are still great mysteries, and not as much as they were 30 years ago, but they are still mysteries since we can't write a coherent equation in science to illustrate or to manage these ideas. So we have a long ways to go, and that to me is what the future is all about. That's what Noetic is all about. That is what my new organization called Quantrack is all about, is to take what we do know, particularly the mathematics and the physics and the biology that's opening up due to these new discoveries, and push them just as far as we can to get the type of answers that we don't have right now.
And also, I want to mention, folks, please consider checking out the Institute of Noetic Science website, ION's website, and think about joining. Think about getting involved there. There's also a Friends of ION's group out there. I know that Edgar would love to have many of you join up in that wonderful project. Next question.
By the way, just in response to yes, Noetic is reshaping its agenda right now. Marilyn Slips is our new president, who's been our director of research for 17 years, vice president for research. And we're reshaping our agenda, much more aligned to scientific investigation, and reshaping our programs, membership programs. So take a look at noetic.org and see what you think about it. We'd welcome you. Go ahead, sir.
Two questions. NASA had a few documents on their website related to UFOs, and a few years ago those were removed and haven't.
What website are you talking about?
I don't remember exactly which branch of the NASA website it was on, but there were several documents related to their position on UFOs. And NASA?
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if you had any idea what happened, or if they're changing their position. My second question is, why do you think we